Food Safety: Closing the Loophole by Azlan Adnan. In a major move set to reshape America's food safety landscape, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has launched a sweeping critique of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration's, FDA, regulatory framework, particularly its longstanding, generally recognized as safe, GRAS designation. Kennedy describes this as Big Food's worst scam, a loophole that enables corporations to introduce synthetic chemicals and industrial additives into the food supply without public disclosure or independent safety verification. The GRAS clause, initially introduced to exempt common substances like salt and vinegar from burdensome review, has, over the decades, morphed into a backdoor for chemical additives. Corporations are permitted to self-certify the safety of substances they introduce into foods, bypassing the FDA's own evaluation. As a result, many consumers unknowingly ingest compounds that have never undergone robust toxicological testing. Kennedy contends that this lax approach to regulation has directly contributed to the explosion of chronic diseases in the United States. He traces the issue back to the late 20th century, when tobacco giants R.J. Reynolds and Philip Morris acquired major food conglomerates. Drawing on their expertise in manufacturing addictive substances, these companies pioneered the use of chemicals that enhance cravings and manipulate consumer behavior. Kennedy argues this was a turning point that gave rise to a generation of processed foods engineered for dependency rather than nutrition. As part of his broader Make America Healthy Again initiative, Kennedy has announced that all petroleum-derived artificial food dyes will be phased out by the end of 2026. Synthetic colorings like Red 40, Yellow 5, and Blue 1, commonly used in cereals, snacks, and beverages, have been linked to behavioral issues in children and other health concerns. While such dyes are restricted or banned in the European Union and United Kingdom, they remain widespread in American products. Some corporations, notably PepsiCo, have responded by pledging to eliminate artificial dyes from their product lines. However, critics argue that voluntary commitments are insufficient. Without binding regulations and rigorous enforcement, millions of consumers remain exposed to potentially harmful substances in everyday foods. Moreover, the opacity surrounding GRAS declarations means that even food scientists are often unaware of what additives are being used and in what quantities. Supporters of Kennedy's campaign see it as a long overdue correction. "We've normalized disease in this country," he remarked recently, "but it doesn't have to be this way." His stance echoes the concerns of consumer advocacy groups, pediatricians, and nutritionists who have long called for a reassessment of chemical use in food production. Skeptics, however, warn of the challenges ahead. Reforming GRAS would require legislative backing, sustained political will, and potentially lengthy litigation from powerful industry lobbies. Others caution that eliminating additives too hastily could have unintended consequences, especially if replacement ingredients are not adequately studied. Nonetheless, Kennedy's proposals have catalyzed a renewed conversation about the intersection of corporate power, regulatory oversight, and public health. His efforts reflect a growing recognition that the U.S. must confront not only the question of what is in its food, but also who gets to decide what is considered safe. As the second Trump administration weighs its next steps, the FDA's GRAS framework may finally face the scrutiny it has long evaded. If Kennedy succeeds in closing this regulatory loophole, it will represent not only a political victory, but a significant step towards restoring consumer trust in the American food system and redefining the very meaning of food safety for the 21st century.
Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel to show your support.